In this video, I'm going to create over 20 different Italian brain rots inside Minecraft. It's going to be like a movie with all the mobs I've recreated so far. So grab some popcorn because there will be special powers, cool abilities. And I'm even making a custom map for each one of them.
Alright, we're gonna start with Tung Sahur. He kind of looks like a piece of wood carrying a stick, so I'm gonna turn him into a villager. Right up ahead, there's a village. As you guys know, here in my Minecraft world, I've built a custom place for every character I've transformed. And today won't be any different. In this video, I'm also gonna create a biome for each of the characters we're making. Let me just grab this villager real quick. Thing is, the lead doesn't work on him, but don't worry, I'll figure it out. Come here. Now with the villager, we're gonna open up this app called Blockbench, and I can change all the details of the villager there. So I'm gonna delete this model and build a brand new one from scratch, inspired by Tung Sahur. Well, he's kind of like a chunk of wood, and his head is a bit bigger than his body, so I can make it something like this. Alright, now on his face, I'm gonna make a base for the eyes. He's got a strong expression like some dark circles under his eyes. So I grab this piece, duplicate it, rotate it, and move it up. That's where his eyes are gonna go. He also has these big cheeks, so I'll duplicate that too and rotate it to the other side. And lastly, the nose. I'll add a little detail here to make it big. Now we just need to add his texture. I'm gonna paint it all with this color that kind of looks like wood. Paint the top part too. And now just add a few texture details, like right here on the side. Alright, nice! I think the texture looks pretty good now. Let's add the leg, stretch it out. Now the foot, pull a cube here and another one. To make the foot look smoother, more like a real foot, we can grab this part, rotate it, click this point, then that one, and boom, it creates a little slope. Now add one more here for the toe. Take that toe and duplicate it across the whole foot. Select the foot, duplicate it to the other side. Now for the arm, pull it out, then the hand, duplicate the hand. And lastly, his stick. Now, back here in Minecraft, remember that villager behind me? Well, he kinda became the Tung Sahur. And yeah, check this out. One thing he does is make that Tung Sahur sound non-stop. I also added a feature so that if you defeat him, he drops the Tung Sahur stick. It's really strong. Look, if I click here, it one-shots any mob in front of me because it throws like a chunk of wood. But let's say I miss. Look, I'm gonna shoot over there and miss on purpose. It creates an earthquake on the ground, making mobs die anyway. So yeah, even if you hit or miss, the mobs are gonna end up dying either way. This stick is seriously OP, and I'm still gonna make even crazier mobs and items, so make sure to watch till the end. Now, like I promised, back here in our village where I've got all the builds from other videos I've made. Actually, this video hasn't even dropped on the channel yet, so if you're watching this, consider it a little spoiler. But I'm gonna pick a spot here to build a custom area for Tung Sahur, and I decided to make it look like a train station. In the original meme image, it's kind of hard to tell what kind of place he's in, but since there's a lot of wood and stuff, I figured it could be something like that. The build turned out really cool, and now Tung Sahur has his own little special spot. I think it fits. Everything's surrounded by wood, just like him. And hey, I want you guys to rate this character in the comments. My rating for him is a solid 7. Alright, now that he's done, let's move on. The next one we're gonna transform is the Boneka Ambalabu. I'm not sure if I said that right, but she's basically a tire with a frog head and human legs. Alright, I think the best mob to turn her into is obviously the frog. So let's grab the frog and get it ready for transformation. Back in Blockbench now, let's pick the frog model. Just like before, I'm gonna delete it because we're not using that anymore. And now I'm gonna start building the base of the doll with this right here. It's kind of like a circle in Minecraft. I'll stretch it out like this. And to shape it into a tire, I'll drag these parts to the corners. Nice! Perfect! Now I'll take this same corner block and duplicate it to make the edge of the tire. Cause it's hollow, right? Stretch it out, add one more, and perfect. Now select all these pieces, duplicate them, and pull them over here. Like this. Boom! The tire's done. We've got the hole going around it just right. Now I'll pull out another cube to make her head. Stretch it, and keep adding more cubes like this to shape her head, following that smooth, rounded style like the tire. I'm gonna duplicate, pull it down, and start adding texture to it. I'll tweak the tire texture a bit too. And look, it's already starting to look like a frog head. Now I'll grab this part, duplicate it upward, and use the scale function to shrink it down a bit. Pull it again, duplicate again, shrink, and pull, and just like that, we're shaping an actual frog mouth. Now, the same thing as before, I'm going to use these edge points to smooth it out. Stretch, smooth, one more here, pull again, and I think it's already a nice frog head, but can it get even better if I do the same edge point trick? For example, pull like this, here, place here, then duplicate this to pull it down, select the 2 edge points. Same thing with this one here on the other side, here at the back, one more, and perfect. Now it really looks like a frog head, almost like a real frog. Doesn't even look Minecrafty, it's almost circular. But more circular than this is what I'll do now. Check this out. I'm going to select this cube and rotate it. Then we do that same thing from earlier, duplicate here and use the edges, because like this, we can make her eye. Look at that perfect circle. Now just paint this circle white and add frog eye details like this. Then select this eye, duplicate it, move it to the other side, and finally, just the leg is missing, stretch here, and the foot and toes. Wow, this took a lot of work. It's a simple mob, but the problem is that making round details in Minecraft is hard because we only have cubes to use. So making a circle with cubes is kind of tricky. Like I said, I'm going to add a drop for each one of them. His drop will be this tire, okay? But it's not just any tire. It's a tire that I can ride on. So I have my own tire that keeps spinning, dude. That's amazing. And it also jumps. Man, honestly, this is incredible. Just like Tung Tung Sahur, I also created a biome where the doll could stay. Since she's a frog, I didn't think just making a Minecraft swamp would look cool. I made something like a forest because she's kind of wild, and there's the tire too. I mixed both, and I think it looked cute, matched her well, and this biome turned out really cool. I think the colors matched a lot. The green with the forest, so my score for it will be an 8. Comment below what you think, and let's move on to the next, which now is Cappuccina Ballerina. Una fuchacha Cappuccina de la Ballerina. I don't know the whole meme, but she doesn't look like anything in Minecraft, so I'll just transform her into any mob I find here. Nothing to do with a sheep, but it could be. She doesn't resemble anything anyway. So, okay, let's pick the sheep. Got her. And I'll start by adding the base of her body. Stretch this way. Pull a square here. Stretch, stretch, and done. Now pull the leg here and here. Select this leg and duplicate it to the other side. She has like a skirt around her body. So I can take this, duplicate it, and rotate. Then if I do like this, pull here. All right, okay. I already managed to put the skirt on her too. Now the arm, stretch down here and duplicate the arm. The easiest part is done, which is just the simple cube. My problem so far with the mobs has been the round parts. So her head I'll also make a little rounder, like with soft corners. Pull here, add another cube in front on the other side, stretch, here too, pull again, add the little border here, and perfect. Now just make the handle where it holds the finger, since she's a cup, right? Okay, it's not as round as the frogs, but it looks pretty cool. All right, back in Minecraft now. Where are those sheep? Here, look, dude, it turned out really cool, actually. I thought it would be a bit simpler, but actually it's really cool. And yes, I also added a power to her. So let's grab it. And it's nothing more, nothing less than a cup. It's that cup from her face. I reused the model, just remove the face, right? And in this case, what does this cup do, for example? I'll demonstrate on a mob. Here, look, there are some cows. I'll click there and it'll throw a cup of hot cappuccino. It's brown water. The cow is trapped inside. Yeah, but it's already dead. Because this is kind of coffee. Not coffee cappuccino, right? Any mob I want to throw this at, it'll throw coffee. I missed the coffee, actually. It's a good item if you have good aim. Now in the biome building part, I created like a quartz border to resemble a coffee cup. And inside I placed brown details. Added some logs and roots to make it look a bit more natural. But the focus on the ground I made of concrete and terracotta in cappuccino color. Look, it actually turned out nice. It matched her a lot because she has several white and brown parts. Just like herself, right? A little cappuccino. My score for her will also be 8. Not my favorite so far. Comment below what you think and your score. And look, our world is already taking shape. We have the scenario of all 3 characters, all 3 powers here too. Tung Tung, Boneka, and Cappuccina. So now let's go to what I think is one of my favorites. La Vaca Saturnita. I think this cow is super cute. Look at her cute little face. Obviously, I'll transform her into the cow, right? There were some cows here that I was killing earlier. Yeah, they're not here anymore because I killed them, right? No problem, found another. Let's go to Blockbench and create a new project with the cow. Delete her. And let's use the same technique of making circles because you noticed, right? She's a Saturn. La Vaca Saturnita. She needs a sphere. To make a sphere in Minecraft, I've done it many times here on the channel. You know how it is, it's complicated. You have to do detail by detail with these circles here. Lots of cubes. So I'll finish the sphere here. And now with Saturn ready, I already applied the texture too. You know how easy it is? I come here and I'll create another one to be the Saturn rings, since she has a ring around Lavaca Saturno Saturnita. She has the rings, right? I'll just enlarge this ring here, like this, okay? Put it around. I just need to do the same scheme from before that I did on the tire, which is to actually turn this into a ring, because until now it's just a cylinder, like this. Perfect. Now the cow's head and legs. The legs are easy, stretch here, do the foot part. And now the head of Lavaca Saturno Saturnita. I'm not gonna make the head round, because the Bonka Ambalabu, which is the frog, was already difficult. Imagine making a realistic cow head in Minecraft. Let me duplicate this here, move to the other side, position it right. Now just the horn is missing. Stretch here, select this, duplicate, perfect. Back in Minecraft, the cow I had already turned into Lavaca Saturno Saturnita. The detail is, if I hit this cow, I'll start to have a certain problem because look, she has a power. I'm not moving like I can't get out of here. Look, there. Okay, I did it. She creates like the gravity of a planet around the player. I can't detach from her. Literally. This is a very annoying power, but not if it's in my hands. Here, look, it dropped. The Saturn from Lavaca Saturno Saturnita. And when I right click, all the mobs around me will start to orbit me. Literally like I'm a planet. Look, it's a very cool power. To make it, I was inspired by the YouTuber Forsaken Neon. Even the strong mobs like Villager isn't strong, right? But Iron Golem here from the village. If I right click, they'll start orbiting me. Look at this. Let me get closer to the villager too. Look, this one is the Tung Sahur, but I turned him into a villager. First to die will be the villager because he's weak, but the Iron Golem will stay alive for a while. Look at this. I became like a planet. They orbit around me. This is definitely the best power of today's video. Now I'll also create a biome for Lavaca Saturno Saturnita to stay in. This one I had no idea, so I thought I'll just create Saturn itself, but obviously it's going to be square, right? Like a square Saturn in Minecraft. But it turned out cool, and that's how the Saturn biome of the cow turned out, with her special Saturn up there. And right above it, Lavaca Saturno Saturnita. Well, my score for her will be a 10, because she was my favorite so far. Comment below what you think. And now finally we're going to the last character, which is the Shark Tralalero Tralala. Look at this. We already made all these. And obviously for him, there's no choice, right? The one that looks the most like it in Minecraft is our deer dolphin. So let's go to Blockbench and make some modifications to make him look like a shark. Give him a longer snout, change his texture, not using this can texture. We can improve it. It's looking a little off. Stretch here. This way it becomes a fin more like Tralalero Tralalas. Enlarge this here, move it here. Then I kept working on it until it looked really similar to the original meme. Then I made his shoe too. Yes, he's a shark that wears shoes. I made his belly part white like a shark, and the upper part focused on the blue color. Now we add his little shoe here. Grab this, duplicate, and rotate to the other side, and done. Our Tralalero Tralala is ready. The dolphin was here earlier. Where is it? Wait, let me grab it with a lead and bring it to the beach. Yeah, it turned out really cool. But one problem I noticed, I can't leave it on the dolphin mob. Soon it will end up dying because it can't stay on land. The dolphin has to stay in the sea. It can't even walk properly here. Okay, now it's better. The dolphin is back to being a dolphin. I think it's better to go back to the water or you'll die. Go over there, my son. And Tralalero Tralala I placed on the pig, look, makes piggy sounds. Killing it, we get this fishtail. If I come close to any other mobs, these are sheep, and right click, it'll spawn a storm cloud. This storm cloud will shoot lightning, but that's not all. Right after the lightning and rain, a tsunami will also come. Since the dolphin controls everything water related. The dolphin? No, the shark. Okay, this was one of the strongest and coolest powers. And last but not least, I also recreated the biome for him. Nothing is better than a lake for a shark to stay in. He was my second favorite, so I'll give him a score of 9. So that's it. We added all the characters and created a special biome for each one of them. But let's start first, which will be the Chimpazzini Bananini. And remembering that I will also create a biome for each of them to stay. Just like in the last video, I built a personalized place for each of them. And the character I will choose to transform into the Chimpazzini Bananini will be the llama. I know the llama is not exactly the mob that matches him, but like I can use this here to be the head there for the part that was supposed to be the banana. And here is the peel. I'll remove the texture and make a kind of cube here. Leave this to the side. Stretch here backwards, decrease a little, and now stretch here forward. Pull another one to make the banana shape upwards. And a detail here. And now take the head here. This is the llama's bananas and fit it here to be the banana part. I will paint everything a more yellow color, and then I will make texture details with different shades of yellow darker. Perfect. Select this peel here, duplicate here, here, and here. Now we add this detail, and the banana is ready. Now only the chimpanzini is missing. For that, I will create a cube here, which will be his head. That's why I'll paint it green. Put it up here and make the detail for his eye. Add the eyebrow. Stretch here one more and pull. Now the ear, add the detail here below. Duplicate and throw this detail up here. Select the ear and duplicate to the other side. Look, I think it turned out pretty cool. I wanted it to walk a little for you to see the walking animation look, because since it has no legs, it walks by jumping. But if I come here to defeat it, it will drop an item called Bonanini, which releases nothing more, nothing less than several bananas. Look at this. And they keep bouncing around the world, jumping here and there. And if by chance this banana hits someone, yeah, it depends. It throws the person very far, but that's not all the item does. For example, if I put several bananas here inside, look, they will keep hitting from side to side, and eventually they will kill the iron golem. Because look, it keeps hitting it, and it's not that weak. I think about 6 hits to kill. There, look, and with so many bananas bouncing here inside, eventually the iron golems would die. This item is not that strong yet, but it's because it's still the first. In this video, we will still have much stronger items with the other characters, like the Bombardino crocodile. I'll choose a place here for us to create another biome for our chimpanzini Bananini to stay. I think it can be right here. And what I created was a forest for him, since he's a monkey, right? A chimpanzee. He normally lives in the middle of a jungle. Only I tried to add some banana details to make it cool, and I think the result turned out very good, and I really like the result of Chimpanzini Bananini. The details I added with the banana combine a lot, this yellow with green, just like his habitat color. Yellow and green, so my score for him is definitely an 8. But okay, now we need to make the Burbalone Lulaloli, which is a capybara inside a coconut, and well, to make the capybara, there's no such a small animal in Minecraft, except for the camel. Just kidding, it's not small, it's the rabbit. The rabbit is small, but the capybara is bigger than it, but I think it will match since it will keep jumping around. Well, and to make it, I will do just like I did. La Vaca Saturno Saturnita. In the last video, I generated a circle here. I know you guys like it a lot when I make circles in Minecraft, so I will select this here, duplicating to the side all these circles. That way, eventually forming a ball here in Minecraft. That's going to be the coconut, and now here I delete these squares here in the front, and it will be the hole where the capybara's head will be in the coconut, exactly here. I think it can even be this size. I just need to delete everything here. And the final result looked like this. Look, a circle with a hole. Now I take and paint everything brown, like this, to simulate a coconut. And just here in the front, white, and done. The coconut is made. I'll just grab here and add another shade of brown with a bit of blending to make its gradient, like this. And now the rest will be very simple, which will be her paw. Duplicate this here and rotate like this. I will make a paw, I don't know, like triangular, I would say. Pull the little foot, the toe, duplicate and duplicate. Select the leg, duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. And the neck, head, and ear. Returning here to Minecraft, the rabbit that was here before became a capybara. The problem is that it keeps jumping, dude. It's very fast. And remember that the Chimpanzini Bananini dropped that banana for us? The Burbaloni Lulaloli, she drops a Capicoco. It releases coconut water, which I don't know if this is strong or not, but usually in the coconut there is coconut water, which is very good. But also her second power is this here. Look, she can trap any mob with palm leaves, and now it's trapped. Now with these two items, the Bananini and the Capicoco, we have a very strong combo, because I trap it with the palm leaf and then just throw the bananas to kill. And perfect. Ah, the banana hit me, dude. There's this small problem that if I throw it here on the wall, it bounces back on me. Damn, the spell turned against the sorcerer. And I also built a mini habitat for us to leave our capybara. Since she's a coconut, I decided to build an island with a palm tree. And well, I really like this one. Not only the model, but also the scenery I created. I created a private island just for her with a palm tree. So my score will be a 10. I really like these 3D models that have circles in Minecraft, since it's something very different. You can also comment your score below, but now we go to the next, which will be Berber Patapim. He is a golem, I think, like a protector of his castle of the forest, surrounded by trees and bushes. So since I think he is like a golem, nothing fairer than transforming the iron golem, which makes the most sense. Well, let's start creating him here by his head. He has a very big nose, and here I will add a cube to make the beard. Here on the side, I will pull and keep duplicating several cubes to be like the leaves and the bush that will have on his hair. Only everything I will paint green later, because he is full of leaves and little trees on top of his head. Well, it's like this here. This part itself will be all green, but with different shades of green, obviously. Like this, here on the side, it can be this color. Closer to the middle with another shade of green, and his skin will also have different shades with light and shadow. Like this, pull here, and I will make it as if he were an already somewhat old golem. Here, look, and down here we can pull his beard. Just make the details with the pixels. I think like this it will be perfect. Now I will add the arm. Stretch here, and his hand. pull, stretch, and one more to smooth it. I said hand, right? But this here, in quotes, is his hand because it's the foot. He walks with his hand with the foot. Very weird. And now I will take these cubes up here and copy them and place them down here because down here it's also full of tree leaves. Upplicating like this. Rotate, throw down. Copy the other, throw up, and I will keep doing this throughout his whole body until he is full of scattered bushes. Now I add the finger, duplicate this finger 4 times until it forms 4 fingers, select his foot, and duplicate. Now yes, it's the hand. Pull here the bush, more bushes, 1 finger, duplicate the finger, and duplicate several times. And now just select this whole left arm and duplicate to the right. Perfect. Returning here in mind, the warrior golem has become patapim. I think he could be bigger. Only I don't know how it would look in Minecraft if he gets bigger than this. I entered the mod and made him a little bigger. Well, I don't know if you prefer him big or small. Comment there because I can change it in the next episodes of this series. But I think big is better because in the image itself, he is very big. Okay, let's do the following. Let's select him here so he gets with the palm leaves around him. Then we kill him quickly and done. And patapim dropped his foot. And as you saw, his foot is very big, so it does nothing more, nothing less than simply creating a stomp. It's like he did this here. Boom! Stomped the ground and created a mini earthquake. This is not weak at all, okay? Look, I'll get close to the iron golem. Yeah, the iron golem I think is not that strong either, but let's test it with the villager because it's easier. Look. 1, 2, 4 of these stomps to kill a villager, but as we have more than 1 power, we can make a combo. Trap him, use the stomp, and then throw the banana. Yeah, against a boss or something, these powers are very useful. And now for the biome I created for patapim, it was literally a forest and a castle for him to protect, since he is the castle protector. And look, I think the place we built for him turned out perfect. The castle defender, golem patapim. Comment your score below for him, and I will definitely give it a 9. Okay, I won't drag too much. And the next and penultimate is the frigo camel, a camel. In a freezer, in a fridge. I think frigo in Italian is fridge, maybe. Okay, this one, there's no much to discuss, right? Surely the frigo camel, we are going to use a camel. Okay, let's go to the program. This one, I will come here and I will do the following. Take an already ready camel, right? Because if it's a camel, there's not much secret. I will leave the 2 legs here. I will just remove these details here from the camel, which is its saddle. Here, and I will leave. I will just remove these details here from the camel, which is its saddle. Here, and this here. I will pick a color that more or less resembles the camel from the meme. It would be like this here and paint the Minecraft camel itself. Now we just shrink its legs, leave them very thin, like this, and add a cube here to make his shoe. Stretch here, and 1 more. Yes, his shin, the camel from the meme, is very thin. It's a thin shin, so that's why I did it like this. Then I will just paint Marco's sneakers that match him. Add different color textures on the shoe to make it cute. Paint like this, duplicate here, pull the foot to the side, and now the camel is practically ready. I just reused the Minecraft one, added a shoe, and now add the fridge, which is the refrigerator in this case. Pull the detail here, and 1 more. And our frigo camel is ready. I can even ride it. Look at this. The hitbox gets kind of bugged because there wasn't supposed to be a fridge here. Oxy, what is this, dude? But okay, it turned out pretty cool. Only what it drops is just the fridge, which is the refrigerator. And what does a fridge do? Well, it makes things cold. Look, it will create an ice block on top of any mob and does area damage. This here is the 2nd strongest item of this video. But, Jackinho, which is the first? You haven't seen it yet because it will be the Bombardino crocodile. Trust me, in my opinion, of the strongest items, surely the fridge after the capybara, the patapim, and the chimpanzini and bananini. And each time we are getting stronger in Minecraft because you can combo everything, throw here, throw banana. Man, we are very powerful. And the scenery I created for our frigo camel was nothing more, nothing less than an ice scenery. I don't know, I know the camel lives in the desert, but a fridge lives in the ice. So yeah, this one was definitely my favorite. I really like this snow and ice style. It's one of my favorite vibes. The model itself, I think it gets a 7 or so. It wasn't the best, but if you count along with the biome, I definitely give it a 10. I liked it too much. And its power too. The fridge power turned out very good. It was one of the best so far. So I think the frigo camel, even though the model turned out simple, deserves a 10. And let's not forget now the last one. The Bombardino crocodile. Well, I had 2 ideas for him. Either I transform him into a phantom because he flies, or into a ghast because he also flies but has a special detail, and I will already explain to you why I chose the ghast. And well, the Bombardino crocodile was the one that gave the most work to do. First, because it had gone wrong the first time, and second, because it had quite difficult details. 3 parts of it were made with circles. You know when I made La Vaca Saturnita and the capybara where I used circles? So these parts give a lot of work, but in the end, it turned out very, very, very good. And I dare say it was the best brain rot I made so far. Since part 1 of this video until part 2, which is now, remember that I said I was going to transform him into a ghast, right? Instead of a phantom, do you know why I chose the ghast? Exactly because the ghast already shoots bombs automatically. This here it's very strong, but it won't be so hard to defeat. I think with these bananas, I won't reach there. Wait, I had an idea. I'll climb up here. Here, let me hit it. Man, these items we gain are perfect. But you know what's more perfect? The item that the Bombardino crocodilo drops. Here, it's literally a bomb. That bomb that stays underneath him, and look at this. This here simply launches a missile. Man, this is incredible. Look at this. It's literally a missile, and that's why I had said it was the strongest item. Let's go to that iron golem, trap him in the palm leaves, and now simply launch a missile at him. It's over for him, dude. This here is surely my favorite item of the video. And well, the biome I built for the Bombardino crocodile was a kind of warplane landing biome. I think it matches him, right? And well, this one was a bit opposite from the Frigo camel, where I like the 3D model a lot. The details of the airplane turned out all very perfect. But the scenery I didn't like so much, but it turned out cool for sure. Score 10, 10 for real, and that's it, all the mobs are done. Well, let's start with the first one, in order, which will be Tatatata Sahar. He is a water kettle with legs and a hand, and I'll use the villager to make him. Here in the Blockbank app, I'll select the villager, okay? And I'll separate his parts, remove the texture, and start by making a cube that will be the base of our kettle, like this. Then down here, I'll add another cube, stretch it this way, another one here below, another one here with a detail, and the lid of Tatata Sour's kettle. Stretch it, and done. I'll start painting it all brown like this, and I'll add texture details just like I always do. Little details. A darker and a lighter color, exactly to simulate light and shadow, like all the textures I create. Keep going like this. In the end, this will look really cool. In the middle here, we can use a lighter color, like this here too. Now I'll add the foot, the leg in this case. Now the foot, a toe. Duplicate and pull to the side several times. Select this foot and duplicate to the other side. Now add his eye, the eyebrow, stretch, select all this and duplicate to the other side. Now here would be the handle, where the kettle's part is. I'll add several cubes until it forms. And at the end, it's a hand. Add the finger, duplicate, and finally just the spout. Stretch here, again, and do this several times. And the villager that used to walk here turned into a kettle of the Tatatata Sahar. Well, I like the result a lot. Comparing with all the Italian BRAINROTS I've made here on the channel, I think a score of 7 is fair. Well, and if I come here and defeat him, he'll drop this kettle here, which is the Tatata item. And the special power I added to this kettle is to shoot a jet of water. Well, it might not make much sense, but it was the only thing I could think of, because what you store in the kettle is water. So much so that in the drawing, look, steam is coming out, so I think water matches this item a lot. But the next items will be even stronger, and by the end we'll have a powerful airplane item from Bambamini Guzini. So watch the video until the end if you want to see everything, and just like all the other videos where I created mobs, I made a personalized biome for each of them to live in. For example, here the chimpanzee and Benanini have a jungle just for them. So I'll create here a space for the Tatata Sahur to live in. Kind of like a wooden area with some trees and focused on brown, which is his color. And ready! Now the Tatata Sahur has a place to stay, and I also built a mini kettle next to him. Because now we're going to the Tripi Tropa, which is a fish with a body of, I don't know, a bear with some flies. I'm not really sure what he is. I was going to use the fish mob to make the base of the Tripi Tropa, but since I don't want him to stay only in the water, I'll use the cow in the end. The mob won't make much difference. So let's go. I'll take him here. And his body will be something like this. Here at the front, he'll have a belly. Like this, really big. Stretch this out, and on top, I'll stretch this cube, make it more rotated, duplicate, and throw it to the other side. The base is already forming. I'll paint it all in this color and add light and shadow details too so we can make a texture. Stretch the arm, another cube, and the fingers to make the hand. And the finger of the hand, select here, duplicate to the other side. The leg, stretch. And the foot, now the fish's head, duplicate here, stretch again, and okay, made his head also with texture. Now I'll add the eye, take this eye, duplicate, and here the scale. Add details, another one below, and here behind, duplicate, stretch here, and pull to the side and rotate. Well, and here are the Tripi Tropas I created. They're kind of small like this, tiny because I thought it matched them. And well, looking at their details, I think a score of 8 is fair. I kind of liked them, but they're kind of an extra. I'll explain to you the reason. But first, I'll use this item I got to defeat the cow. And look, it dropped normal drops here, but also dropped the trip fish. And well, you must be asking yourself, wow, but what's the power of a fish? If the kettle one was water, the fish could be water too, right? But actually, no. The power I gave it was this. Look, when I click, we can look somewhere. Notice, his mouth is more open than before. I opened his mouth, and now I can aim at any character and release a vapo. Technically, this fish has stinky breath because he's a fish stink. So literally, it releases, look, wherever I aim, it releases a vapor breath. And okay, now I'll also come here and build a space for Tripi Tropa to live. For Tripi Tropa to live, I made a greenish place with moss and dirty water. Kind of messy and dirty to match him. And ready? Here's his biome. I had forgotten that he's tiny, so this turned out a bit big for such a small creature. But okay, it looks cool, and well, Remember I said it was an extra? Because right next to it, we have another Tripi Tropa. Yes, these two have the same name. And kind of on the internet, there's a debate to know which one is the original, which one came first. Well, it doesn't matter which came first or which is the original. What matters is that I'll create both of them here in Minecraft. And this one, obviously, I'll turn into a cat. Even because he is a cat, just mixed with lobster, or mixed with shrimp. I'm not exactly sure what animal that is, but I just know I'll recreate him here in Minecraft. I'll start creating a cube that will be the front of his head, and then I'll duplicate to the back, reduce the size, duplicate again, reduce the size, and do this several times to create something like a spine, a kind of thorny shape. Well, exactly this. What I have to do now is improve the texture of this. Each of these spikes has interconnected texture, so when I do one cube, it goes to all the others. So anyway, it'll look good. Yes, fine. In the middle here can be a bit lighter, and at the end, add the border for his tail, duplicate here, and now the foot, the other one, stretch, and done. Now select this, and duplicate several times until it forms his feet. Well, yeah, like this it seems a bit weird, but in Minecraft, I'll later do this. Look, he'll be curled up like the lobster. The shrimp there. Not exactly sure what it is. Like this. Look, it'll be like this. But here we have to leave in a default pose. Now add the cat's head. Stretch here. Another cheek, and I'll start making the mouth. Duplicate. Again. Now stretch here, pull, and fine. This will make a smoothing shape for his nose, to look like a cat's nose. Now duplicate, again, and perfect. Here at the front, the nose. Now the ear, duplicate here, again, one more, here, and I made a cube with a tip to simulate the ear. Here the cat hairs, duplicate, and the lobster antenna select, and duplicate, and coming back to Minecraft, the cat now became Tripi Tropa version 2. Let me try to feed him here. Wait, let me try to give him food here because I need him to become my cat. Come back here. Wow, man, cat is very fast, bro. Why are you so annoying? Like, I'm giving you food and you're running from me. Doesn't make sense. Fine, now he'll stay quiet here, and the item he'll drop so we don't have to kill him is just for me to take the shears and come here and shear. The cat also dropped wool. I think it's because I added the sheep shear function, but okay. What matters is our item, which is the trip spikes. It literally shoots a spike. Look, not sure if you can see it well, but it's a spike. And this spike is really strong. So much so that it kills the iron golem in 2 hits. The iron golem doesn't get knockback, but if I come to another animal here, look, for example, that has greater knockback like this one, look how far it flies. This Spinute throws very far too. Well, but you can comment the score below what you thought of this Tripi Tropa, which is the cat version. My score, for the details and everything, this one was the best so far. So it's going to be a 9. I built a biome with a lake, lots of pink coral, and some colors and tones like salmon, lobster, like that to match him. And perfect, this one turned out really nice. I even made it a smaller size to not make the same mistake as last time. But the biome composition here, look, turned out really nice. There are already 3, just 3 more to go, and it's matching with the ones I made from the last videos. So let's go to the 4th, and we finally reached halfway. Now just 3 left, and well, the next one is Cappuccino Assassino. I don't know what to transform him into. I'm already running out of ideas because these brain rots don't make any sense. Like with animals, he's a cappuccino. I'm just gonna transform into whatever shows up, really, because like I said, it won't change anything in the end since I completely modify the mob. So it's going to be the pigs. The first thing I did for Cappuccino was to create a cup model, and now I just need to texture this cup. And that's what I did. I placed his little face there with the bandana, and now I'll just add a few more details to him, like an eyebrow. Duplicate it to the side, a leg, and the foot. Select this. Now the arm, the other one, and the hand. Here in the middle, add a band. It's a karate belt. That fighter, right? I don't know. Karate because he has a katana. I'm not exactly sure, but here add his hand, and the other one. And now finally, the katana he holds. Pull this here, select this, and duplicate. Perfect. Here he is, our friend, Cappuccino Assassino. Damn, it turned out really cool. Yeah, the last item I got was this one, right? So I'm going to defeat him. Huh, wait, oh, okay. This is his item. Yes, I thought it would be interesting to just put the katana as his item because since he's holding it, it makes total sense. And let's not forget to give him a score. Well, in my opinion, he's a 10. He was the best so far, both he and the item. The item is also very strong. The reason I gave this score is because, for example, he's a Ravager. He's one of the strongest mobs to face in Minecraft. Not as much as the Warden and all, but if I manage to get close to him, the katana kills with 1 hit. I put an absurd strength on it because yes, it's a katana and I want it to be a very strong item, you know? So really, he turned out great, but without further ado, I created kind of a place like a karate dojo with katana and stuff for him to fight. And all done, inside here is the Cappuccino Assassino. I placed some fighting dummies there for him to train with, some wooden dolls, and a cappuccino right in the center. Look at that, it turned out really nice. Looking from above, you can already see all 4 of the scenarios I created, which means only 2 left. So let's go make the second to last. You din 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 dun ma din 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 dun. He's a gym orange. You can see he's in a gym, he's very strong, and well, since he's strong, the mob that has strong arms and like that muscular style in Minecraft is the iron golem. So that's what I'll transform. Let's go then. Let's start pulling his head here. Since it's an orange, it has to be more rounded. Pull down here, stretch, pull here, and another. We made his underwear. Now pull to make the leg, duplicate a bigger one. Stretch here and another. His leg has lots of details because it's meant to represent a very muscular leg. Now I'll stretch this to be the sole of the shoe. Pull up here, back here, stretch, and this detail. Now select and duplicate to the other side. Now the arm. Also a very detailed arm. Duplicate here, pull over, one more time and perfect. Select this and duplicate to the other side. And now up here, the leaf of the orange. And look, here in front is din 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 dun. Well, like I said before, the katana is the strongest item I have. So before defeating him, I'll just show you the details. I think it turned out really nice. In my opinion, this was the best in the video so far. Better than the Cappuccino Assassino, so definitely also a 10. And it's very likely the last one, which is the Bombardino, will also be a 10. But okay, comment your score down below. Now we'll use this katana to defeat him. And the item that dropped, look here, is the Ujin item. It's a gym weight. Since Ujin Din Din Dun is in a gym, there are weights too, look. But what does this item do? I wanted to make this gym weight so heavy, but so heavy that, for example, let me find a mob here. Look, it can be that bunch of horses there. That, for example, if I come here and throw this weight at the horses, I'm going to throw it way up and wait for the weight to fall. Let me move away. And the weight is so heavy that it creates an explosion when it hits the ground. Look at this. Yeah, the horses that were there are gone. Okay, this turned out really cool. Look at this. When the weight hits the ground, it will literally create an explosion around all the animals and defeat everything that's near it. I don't know if the item turned out too overpowered, but I liked it. And now also the Din 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 Dun scenario I'll create here like it's an orange forest for him to live in. And look how beautiful these trees with orange leaves look. I know Minecraft doesn't have orange leaves, but the trees I placed here are from a mod, okay? They were supposed to be orange trees. I could have just used a regular tree, but I wanted it to match his color and it matched, right? It's orange. So now let's finally go to the last one, which is Bombardino. This one is like Bombardino Crocodile. He's gonna be a lot of work to make. So I'll do the following. For him, I'll turn a chicken, which is the closest item we have to a duck here in Minecraft. Just like I did Bombardino Crocodile, I left a time lapse showing you. Because he has a lot of details and it was very hard to create all the parts with circles. And the difference is that I still have to create a plane and then put a duck on top. But the result turned out really good. Look at this. The chickens here became Bombardino. Wow, this one turned out really, really cool. I dare say it's way better than the first one I made, which was Bombardino Crocodilo. Definitely this one is a 10. If I could, I'd even give it an 11. Comment down below what you think because really it turned out very, very cool. And even better is the power I gave them. I'll defeat one of these Bombardines. And the item it drops is that airplane, the one the Bombardino duck is riding. Okay, what happens now is, look at this. If I come here and pick up the item, it automatically changes my HUD. And not only that, but I can fly. Because if I come here, I mounted on it, look at this, I'm literally riding on the airplane. But if I drop the item, yeah, I fall and all that stuff on my screen goes away. But I just come here, pick it up again, and I can fly again. I didn't like this HUD that stayed on my screen that much. This giant airplane, maybe I'll remove it or not. And an extra detail is that it also drops bombs wherever I'm looking. For example, if I want to blow up everything down there, I can. And for the last character, I'll make a duck pond. Since he's a duck, I literally wanted a pond with Victoria Regius, etc. And this one was one of the best. It matches a lot with duck, has the frog stuff and all. I know he's a plain duck, but he's still a duck, right? Well, let's start with Trollimero Trullatina. Since he's obviously a catfish, I could turn him into either a Minecraft fish or a cat. I don't know what happened to my elytra, but I have some items here from the last video. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, go watch them. They're items I can use to defeat the mobs. In this case, it's a cat, so I won't need to defeat it, right? Here, this cat already works. Here in the editing app, I'll start by creating a cube to be the base of the fish's body. Since it's a fish, I'll make this shape like this, with this extension going back. And right here at the end will be where its tail stays. I create a cube, rotate, stretch it back, rotate here, and perfect. Now I'll start creating the fish's scale texture. I'll create a division that will be its scale, the top part, more or less like this. And I'll make a gradient with different tones of the same color. For example, lighter and darker, as if it were a shadow. Just alternate the pixels, then place. like this. And now I'll use the same technique to do the bottom part, alternating between white pixels with a lighter and darker color. I'll stretch a fin for him here, also here. He's a fish with legs, right? So pull here, stretch, shape his foot, one more. And I'll use that technique to smooth it out. Shape one toe and duplicate the toe several times. Select this foot too, duplicate several times. And now the cat's head, ears, the nose. Pull here, one more. And perfect. And okay, here in Minecraft, the result of Trulamero Trulatina turned out like this. Well, he's a cat. What I'm going to do is get close to him and try to give him fish until he becomes my cat. And with that, we unlock a new item from Trulamero Trulatina, which is like a part of the fish, trip item. And what this item does is nothing more than create a water missile launcher. Look at this. Since he's a fish, he controls water. Wow, Iron Golem is going to kill me. Wait, look. So no matter the distance I was at, I hit here. Look, the missiles go there and hit the entity in front. This is very strong. But this was just the first power and the first character of the video. We still have 4 more to make, and as always, I also created a biome where Trulamero Trulatina will live. It turned out pretty cool. I tried to make a fishy kind of thing, kind of cat, and I think I liked the result. And this is how Trulamero Trulatina turned out in his biome. Leave a rating below for both. My rating is 8, and to make the Giraffe Celeste, I'm going to use our horse, which is the closest to a giraffe that we have. Well, no delay, let's go to the next, which is the Giraffe Celeste. For the giraffe, I'll create a cube here, which will be the watermelon. Well, I'll paint it green, and in the middle, I'll get a circle, and create a circle to be the red part of the watermelon. Leave it a bit lower, like this, and I'll start by creating her leg. Pull here, stretch this way, another foot, and here, now the shoe, detail, and smoothing of the shoe. Select this leg and duplicate 4 times. And now the and, neck, stretch. A cube, finish her snout, a horn, and the ear. Finally, the astronaut helmet. And here in Minecraft, it turned out like this. To defeat it, I'll use these missiles here, which are quick, and then it already dropped the item. I just need to get out of here to be able to pick up the Giraffe Celeste item. There, look, and this is the Giraffe Celeste item. If I try to use it here, it won't work. I need to find an animal to cast a spell on it. Since the Giraffe Celeste is a space mob, she creates watermelon slime and makes animals float like 0 gravity in space. This power is very strong. Look at this, floated the animal through the watermelon slime. And I can do this several times even before hitting the ground. Look at this. Wow, but it takes too long to kill an iron golem. It's not that strong, right? But it's only the second item in the video still. At least it's a cool item. Now I'll also create a place for the celestial giraffe to live. I made something based on watermelon colors. I think it matches her. The Giraffe Celeste turned out like this in her biome. There are several watermelons like the surface of the moon. Comment your rating below for the giraffe and the biome. My rating is a 7. And well, the next mob we're going to make is Bombardino Bandito. Wow, this is one of my favorites of the BRAINROTS. He is very stylish. Well, he is a beaver, I guess. I didn't find any mob that looks like a beaver in Minecraft, so I'll turn it into a chicken. In the end, the mob doesn't even matter. Well, let's create him. I'll pull a cube here and duplicate it forward. Select this and rotate to the side to be a coat. He wears like a detective coat. It's a lab coat, actually. Stretch here the detail. Another coat detail. The tie, stretch here. And now the leg. Pull here. And the foot. The toe. Duplicate this leg, and now his head. Stretch it really big. I'll pull the cube for the hat and make details for his hat. Stretch here once more, and now the nose. Duplicate, pull here, look here, select this, duplicate, and move to the side the little nose. He has more details. Here on the coat, this way, one more here, stretch here, now the arm, the other arm, the hand, and duplicate the hand. Lastly, the weapon he holds. Well, here he is in Minecraft. As I said, I turned him into a chicken. Look, because I couldn't think of anything. But what really matters is the result and not what he was before. Well, if you had a better idea for a beaver, comment below because I couldn't think of anything. Well, let's just finish her quickly, and the item he drops is nothing more than that weapon he holds. First, I had gotten a regular gun power that was just shooting bullets. But I thought it would be very boring to be a normal gun, right? Because there's nothing normal about these mobs. So instead of being a gun that shoots bullets, it shoots a laser. Look at this. Yes, Bombardino now has a laser weapon. If I, for example, attack this little mob here, look, they're all gone. Well, his item is really cool, but what's also cool is the biome I created for him. A place for the hamster to stay. I don't know if it's a hamster, a beaver, a rat, I don't know. But the important thing is that it turned out super cool. And this is how he turned out in his little space. Don't forget your rating. Mine was a 5 for this one. And now we can go to the next, which is Bribicus dicus. And he's a little bird. Now I could have the chicken. No, wait, there are birds in Minecraft, right? So he's the one I'll transform. Well, let's start. Pull here. The head of Bribicus dicus. Stretch here. One more on the side. And the base for the body. Stretch the belt and the leg. The little bird foot, very small, and the claw. Select this leg, duplicate to the other side. Since he's like a guardian, he has a cape. Cape details. The wing, duplicate the wing. The gladiator helmet, stretch here. Detail, detail, duplicate the detail. This has the gladiator hat for detail, and now the beak. The little beak. Pull a detail here, and here on the side, I'll make that fruit that floats around him. Stay here and rotate the leaf and move it here. And just duplicate this fruit all over the body. Okay, where's Bribicus? Look at this. Okay, he looks really cool. I think he's my favorite so far because he had a lot of detail. The animation is walking, flying. What is this, man? But yeah, look at this little flight. It looks really cool. And well, the item he gives us is nothing more than his wings. Well, I'll take off my elytra here. And if I come here, right click while flying. Look at this. He gives me a flight boost and I can use it as many times as I want and move very far away. This is definitely better than elytra. Definitely my favorite power and character so far. Comment which one was yours because we only have one more to make. First of all, let's create a biome for Bribicus stay. I created a little bird place there. There's a part with a tree for him to sit and stuff, and I found it really, really cool. The model turned out very good, but the biome I thought was kind of simple. So my rating will be a 4. Comment yours. But now let's go to the last one. Wow, this is much better than elytra, man. Okay, let's go. Make the Lirililarla. He's an elephant. There's nothing like an elephant in Minecraft. The only one I think that would be somewhat similar from the same family would be the cow. So let's make our big orange elephant. Green elephant. Stretch here. Detail. His leg is joined, they are stuck together. Stretch down, and the foot. Select this, duplicate, and drag forward. Well, this is to separate Cactus. Except it's not Cactus, it has the thorns. Okay, it turned out really cool. Now the head. Stretch here. Detail for the trunk, the big ear too. Space for the teeth, stretch the trunk. One more time. And those teeth, which aren't teeth, right? I don't know the name of that, and it's done. Okay, here in Minecraft, this is how the cow turned out. Look at this. It's an elephant full of spikes and cactusy. Wow. Okay, it turned out really cool. Well, I'll use this thing here to defeat this cow. And the power he gives us is this cactus sword. I had already used a power from Lirililarlar in a past Hearts video of mine, but it was a sword I had already gotten ready. This one I made myself, and I put 3 powers in it. Since it's the last mob, it has to be the strongest. First, it creates a cloud with cactus slime. That's really cool. So I can hit any mob and it'll release that cactus slime. The second power is that the sword itself, it's very strong. Look, it defeated him with 4 hits. Now the golem will take 1, 2, 3 and died. And lastly, I'm without armor. In this case, my armor stays in here usually. Wow, it even has the tralalero tralala power here still. But look, this is a normal armor. There's nothing on it. If I equip it and hold the sword in my hand, any armor I have will gain thorns 3 enchantment since Cactus has thorns. Since this was the last, it was the strongest power I made. And I also created a biome for Lilililari to stay in. This one is definitely a 10. Leave your rating below. Comment below if maybe you want a part 5 of transforming the Italian brain rots. Don't know if I'll do more parts.